and welcome back to Love Your Food. This week's recipe, we're going to show you a very simple and quick recipe for a really beautiful, fresh Pico de Gallo. This is a nice, spicy, fresh relish. It's obviously very similar to salsa. Usually served as an appetizer with chips or a side dish for entrees. This goes really well with our fajitas from a couple weeks ago. You can use it in the place of salsa. And we're going to start off. We've got the juice from a lime. Obviously, we've got a couple of tomatoes. We've got one jalapeno, and the pepper you use can be individualized. We've got some onion and a great deal of cilantro as well. This is fresh cilantro out of our garden. Now it has already started to flower, so it changes the shape of the leaf a little bit, but the flavor is still the same. So we're going to start by chopping up our onion. Now, the size that we're going to chop everything to, really, this is all up to you. It depends on how chunky you want your Pico de Gallo. And we usually make it fairly fine. It's not going to be really big and chunky, but it's also not going to be smooth and almost pureed like you would sometimes get from a salsa. It's not going to be mushy. It's going to be quite big pieces that you can really bite into, which is sort of the biggest difference between pico and salsa. So here's our jalapeno. We're just going to take the flesh away from the center, trying to avoid the seeds and the white pith inside there. And again, you want that in fairly small slices, but not tiny, so we're just going to give it a little julienne first into matchsticks. And then we're going to just give it a little quick cut the other way. It's a nice, decent-sized little dices there. And if you want something a little hotter, you can always use a hotter pepper than that. Or if you want something milder, please go ahead and use something like a poblano, which is usually not quite as spicy as a jalapeno, or a cubanelle or something like that. Now for the tomato, we're just going to give this a little dice as well. It's really important here. You can see our knives are normally very sharp, but this one actually could use a little sharpening, so Chef Caleb's using the sweet spot down near the bottom of the knife just to get a little purchase before sliding the knife all the way through. And into the bowl it goes. Now you do want to remember that we're going to be adding lime juice and salt to this, and it's all going to marinate for a little while. So give a rough chop to your cilantro. You do want it into pretty small pieces once again. But this is not really as easy a dish to do in front of your guests because it does need to sit around a little while just for all the flavors to come together. So here we go with our lime juice. We're going to use the whole lime here. And you see Chef Caleb has squeezed all the juice out, and now he's just cutting the last few little bits out. And it's all right if you get a few little pieces of lime in there, as long as you get all that juice in there as well. And this is really going to give it a bright, really excellent fresh flavor as well. All right, so everything's in there. We're just going to give it a good little dash of salt in there, and then we're going to mix until it's all really well combined. So give it a good stir. You do want to make sure that that lime juice is covering everything, that you get a little bit of salt on everything as well, and that is going to all come together over the course of a few hours. It's really excellent if it sits for a day or even overnight, and is better the second day. Now, obviously, you can just serve this as it is with chips. And right now, Chef Caleb's just going to give it a little taste test with a chip as well. But you can also put this in recipes. Like I said, we would put it in our fajitas that we showed you a few weeks ago instead of salsa, and it's really great that way. And this recipe is really easy to customize for your own tastes. You can change up the pepper, you can change up the tomato. It's all really up to you for this. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if there's any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.